Hey everybody, my name's Sunny, and I'm a servant, a working staff, anything but a daughter to my mom. Even her dog means more to her than I do. And believe me, I'm not exaggerating. Yeah, I forgot to say, all the names have been changed here. And as they say in the detective novels, all the coincidences are random. I don't want any problems, and they would definitely appear if someone recognizes me or my mom from this video. So, just imagine listening to a beautiful fairy tale with a sad ending that just happened to some real people. My mom is a well-known singer. She's not a world celebrity though, but she's in the top positions in our country. She looks amazing. The fans from our house can only be removed with a dumper and police squads. Her social media is overloaded with the ecstatic confessions of her mad fans. I would have probably admired her too. Well, because from the outside, she's really cool. She always works her ass off, like an immortal horse. 30 concerts a month in different cities. Photo shoots, recordings, fan communication, and you cannot forget fitness here, because appearance is really important in this kind of business. Anyway, sometimes I think she has a time machine somewhere, as she has at least 72 hours a day. Just for 20 years of her career, with such a constant and fierce life rhythm, my mom really deserves respect and love. But something isn't working for me here, because my mom has time for everything and everyone. Journalists, shoots, a fight planned by PR people in a nightclub, but not for me. I lived with my grandma until I was 14, and I only saw my mom on TV. I had everything: toys, educational activities, all sorts of gadgets, plus a bunch of nannies messing around, in addition to my grandma. But my mom somehow didn't appear in my life. In fact, all during my childhood, she appeared only 3 times, probably on my 11th birthday, then on Christmas again when I was 13, at my grandma's funeral. Anyway, our relationship with her couldn't, in fact, be called a relationship, rather some alien and unfamiliar thing. I was even able to forgive all this, because I knew perfectly well with my small teenage brain that a popular sexy singer can't practically have an adult daughter because of her reputation. Any daughter at all. Unless it's a charming, plump-cheeked little baby. But I've already grown out of diapers. Sorry. The second problem was that I looked like my dad. No, I wasn't scary or ugly, just, well, normal. Nice, pretty, but completely ordinary. And compared to my mom, I just couldn't even be seen at all. Even fashion brands and tons of makeup didn't save me at our photos together. Besides, when all the celebrities posted family selfies with their kids, my mom could sign home photos like a superstar and a mole, or me and my shadow. Perhaps this was also offensive to her, as well as the fact of having a teenage daughter in her celebrity life. After my grandma died, there was no one I could stay with. Technically, I could continue to pay nannies, but there was something with the law that you can't leave minors alone for a long time. And Mom definitely didn't need any legal scandals. So my mom had to take me with her, at least nominally. So that's how I found myself in high society. Well, I was never willing to get there anyway. Many of my classmates would have given their right hand for just one small chance to look at their idols close up. And I was hanging out with them every day. But it totally wasn't my thing. Those who are unfamiliar with the underside of show business probably won't understand me. But without the cameras and other stuff, superstars are the same people, often with sick stomachs, broken down nerves, and totally damaged and spoiled skin under tons of makeup. Your favorite cover boy looks like a dead troll or a stinky chop in real life, depending on the drugs he'd taken before. For example, makeup itself is very harmful. If permanent and in the spotlight, it is working on maximum capacity. Actually, one could easily get burns on the exposed parts of the body. Well, endless tours could kill any appearance, even the most stunning one. Only the strongest survive. And the way they survive? Well, they don't fall off the pedestal and take too much chemical stuff to stay on their feet. So there's really nothing to admire here. Normal and ordinary people shouldn't strive for the spotlight's brilliance. Okay, that was kind of a prologue. Let's get back to my story. My mom had to take me in. But in what way? For some reason, it didn't occur to her to act like her friends did. That is, to make me a smaller star. But for a personal assistant, I was just perfect. Gray and silent, always yes girl. Besides, she could easily kick me, humiliate me, and insult me for free, without any harm to her reputation. Even hitting me with a hairbrush was like an educational process for her, and I had to endure it because, hey, that's cool, your mom's a star. But no one really heard just my complaints. The star's personal assistant is a cleaner, a punching bag, and a pot girl. It's not honorable or fashionable at all. The only advantage, as I said, was not an advantage at all. The ability to communicate with the same stars, of different genres, and from different spheres. During my work with my mom, I got to know many of them. I communicated with many of them and even made friends. And, as you know, it wasn't difficult for me to understand that my mom was one of the worst-case scenarios of the star disease, because others were quite friendly to me. One director even offered me a part in his movie, and he said, for a start, but nothing was forbidden to me. Officially, I could do whatever I thought was necessary, and even such offers and contracts were welcome. But in fact, my mom did everything to make it impossible for me. At first, after such offers, she told everyone about her terribly busy schedule, that she can't do without me at the next performance. The fact that the performance was just on the appointed casting dates, and I was there like a fifth wheel. Of course, this was a simple coincidence. And then my mom started doing completely unreasonable things. I mean, from her side, they were quite logical. But as for my mom, this is a person who gave birth to me. They were rather disgusting, because when others asked her about my future or career, she answered that with my crooked hands and lack of talent, she hoped that at least I wouldn't screw up my assistant's job again. And then there were outright humiliations in front of everyone. My mom accused me of not having proper makeup, a badly made outfit. Seemed like even 9/11 was my fault. And all this was said right at parties, in front of different media viewers and journalists. She often said I had crooked hands, and I couldn't do anything until I was poked in the face. Well, and as for the lack of talent, this was a constant tune. You can understand how others felt about me after that. Though most people didn't care, everyone made conclusions, and no one else made suggestions to me. I wanted to leave show business and go study at college, but Mom just wouldn't let me do it. My mom forbade it, and she didn't forget to remind me that I still couldn't cope with it because, well, yes, crooked hands again, lack of talent, lack of brains. Anyway, I was a total loser in her eyes. But once the truth came out, at one of the charity events, a very cool media boss, looking at me, told my mom that she is preparing a good new generation. Mom just smiled and walked away. But at home, I got it in the neck from her. Yelling, hitting, insulting. It was just a routine. But at some point, she got over it, and she confessed I'd always be in her shadow because she wouldn't allow me to be more successful than her. It turned out that she was just afraid of being too old, because some people had already been hinting at that more and more. Afraid that I would become more popular and famous, and would take away her star throne. She's afraid of a lot of things, and all her fears were based solely on my presence in her life. In fact, I was fed up with her confession she wouldn't allow this. For my mom, her own life and career were more important than her daughter's. I could have put a moral point on this and left, but I knew perfectly well that I had nowhere to go. My mom also managed to take care of this while I was trying to be a good daughter. I finished school, yes. It was hard, and I didn't get the highest scores. My mom wouldn't even pay for my education, especially if I left her. And I just don't know how to play her game. I don't have the conscience to go to journalists and confess. That's how it turns out that from the outside, I have a life of dreams. But in fact, I'm nobody. Just another person in the brilliant background of my mom. I'm not really there. My desires and aspirations are worthless, and no one needs them, not even me. And all I have to do is wait for my mom to get tired of pleasing her ego and playing with my life. Then maybe she would leave me alone. The main thing is not to get too late. Meanwhile, I work as a servant, and I don't even get paid for anything I'm going through. You know, I could be a very good actress, because at all the official events, when I appear in front of journalists against my will and complain to the audience about the heavy life of a single mom star with a worthless daughter life, I smile at the camera and wave my hand. But in fact, I want to scream and kill everybody. I have no idea how to live or what to do next. I have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I don't want to act mean and stay homeless. I don't want such a prospect and aftermath. I really hope for your advice and tips, because I feel that a little more, and something terrible would happen to me. Or I would do something terrible. I don't even know what's worse. Write in the comments if you found yourself in a similar situation, or if you know people who are in my shoes. And don't go into show business if you didn't have sharks or fighting dogs in your family. It's not cool there at all, and you'd probably just get eaten by people like my mom.